This is just answers to a few comments. In this video, this is a Mexican Padilla video. I I've heard that Texas had a problem with feral pigs, but I never knew they'd be so brazen as to walk across a parking lot in the middle of the day. But that's not really why we're looking at this. This is why we're looking at this.
Good, good, good. I got my attorney with me this time, so.
I don't know if you just saw his attorney bending over to pick something off the ground. That's apparently Mexican Padilla's attorney's butt. It's a big one, I know. It's got to be like a 400-pound boar right there. Anyway, no, that is not Mr. Padilla's attorney. That is not an attorney at all. Wild boar can't be attorneys. Mr. Padilla's attorney is Brenda Louise Levenstein. So there you go. Why does this number match Breezy v. United States? This is from, it's the same number as the court case that is filed by Leon Valley auditors. Why? Look, there's another one. Why? I don't know. They'll probably correct it at some point in time. They'll either change it or whatever. The complaint was filed on the 4th of July. So they'll figure it out. They'll correct it. It'll be changed appropriately. Whichever one was filed first will remain 680, and they may throw like a B behind it, or they may change it entirely to whatever is next in the system. So there you go. Then on, was it Bonnie Burger has a good question. She says, my confusion on all this is, you said you asked first if you can film in a public place, but then these auditors come in filming. So what you did was auditing, or you just happened to be in the area? If the officer asked you for an ID or your name, would you have given both or one? Well, okay, so what is the practical difference between asking if you could film and starting to film? The practical difference is if you ask to film and you're told no, well, you've been denied your First Amendment right, and if you actually have a good case, then since you have been denied your right, you can seek redress. At that point, you have exactly as much chance to seek redress as you would if you were attempting to film and stopped from it. So why should I expose myself to extra liability? You know? Also, it is a public place, sort of. It's open to the public, but that doesn't make it a traditional public forum. A museum can restrict photography. If you may have noticed, I don't know if I actually paused on it, but in the one room where the guy engaged me in conversation, there was a sign that says no flash photography. So they can limit your right to film. They could probably also limit your right to film entirely, because when I walked in the door, I knew I was walking into a courthouse. It is a functioning actual courthouse. There were 2 court cases going on that day. Did I go in there for the purpose of auditing? Yes, I did. I was at the law library, which is right across the street. The Sparks Law Library is right across the street from the Auburn Courthouse. And I'm like, hey, you know what? I'll go over there and I'll film in the Auburn Courthouse, but I'll do it right. I'll do it legally, and I'm not going to expose myself to getting arrested because I'm not retarded. If the officer asked me for ID, I am fully aware of the laws in California regarding requirements on ID. I would not be required to ID until I was arrested. And you're going to say, well, the law doesn't say in California you have to ID if you're arrested. Well, yeah, but number one, in California, if you're arrestable, in any state, if you're arrested, they can search you. Once you're arrested, they can search you. They could open your pocket. They could open your wallet. They could find your your driver's license. No, I don't keep in dress slacks. I don't keep my wallet or my keys in my pockets because that ruins the lines and it wears the material out. That's your fashion tip for the day. I carry that that folio with me, and I have my wallet and my keys in it. Keeps your pants line looking slimmer. Keeps your pockets from wearing out from having a big old thing of keys in there. So if he asked me to ID prior to being arrested, I would politely decline. If he asked me for my name, I would have probably said, yeah, my name is John. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, it depends on what he's doing. If he's making consensual conversation with me, I have nothing to hide. Like, I don't have a problem with officers asking, like, hi, my name's Officer Bob. What's your name? Hi, my name's John. John what? John, none of your business. Why do you care what my last name is? At that point, I'd start to get a little, But, you know, I don't have a problem with it necessarily. It's when they demand your ID. If they ask for my ID, if they ask for actual, like, a physical ID, then they would get resistance from me, yes. I'm grateful for your channel, but after watching these other channels for a good year and then the Leon Valley situation, then listening to you, do these auditors have some credibility for what they're doing as far as no ID or name, even videotaping in public? That's a very good question. And again, it goes back to what is the purpose of the police officer asking for ID? Depends on the state, depends on the circumstance. You don't always know. Maybe you match a wanted person. Maybe your description matches the description of a wanted person, and all the officer's trying to do is make sure that you're not that wanted person, and then you'll be free to go. But that's probably just wishful thinking on my part. Most likely what the officer wants to do is the officer doesn't like you or the cut of your jib and is going to just call you in just to see if there's a warrant, just to see if there's any reason for him to hassle you. So I'm not a huge fan of giving your ID, like the actual physical ID. I am very much along the lines of people like News Now Houston who are like, yeah, you know, my name is, in his case, he'd say, you know, my name is David. In my case, let's say my name is John. Jeff Gray, who I very, very much respect, who is an actual, like a real auditor / activist, he'll say his full name, and I don't have any problem with that. Yeah, it's really up to you and how you want to do it. You're on firm legal footing until they actually detain you or arrest you, depending on the state you're in, to not give it. I understand they're antagonizing the people, but without that is what they are doing, standing their grounds, correct or not correct. If they're antagonizing the citizens, I think they are being completely antithetical to the purpose for which they are stating they're doing it. In most of these situations, aside from filming in a traditional public forum, in most of these situations, they are completely not within their rights to film in courthouses and police stations. The police and the courts and the post office are completely within their right to deny them the ability to film. And I don't believe that they're going to actually make any changes by challenging it in court, because these things they're pretty well established. I've gone over the forum analysis. Police stations, post offices, courts are not public forums. They don't have to let you film. In fact, it's very, very decided that the courts can deny you access to filming. Very well decided. That's set in stone. You're not going to change that. Post offices are pretty clear if you look at like Coquinda, things like that. Police stations, if you judge by Adderley or any other analysis of a non-public forum, then you can adduce really quickly that you can't film in a police station if the state doesn't allow it. So really what the goal should be for these auditors is getting the public on their side, but they don't do that. They go out and they make asshats out of themselves. like Monkey in that DMV just being a general jerkwad. Padilla going into the tax assessors, getting argumentative with people. They really don't have. I know they want to. I know they want to portray it as they think they're getting the public. Oh, it's a massive surge. The public is swinging against them. I don't see it. I would love to see greater support for filming in general. Like if nobody had a problem with it, I don't see why we couldn't have filming in a police station. You know, as long as everybody was cool and like, hey, you know, we got someone in who wants to make a complaint or something. Can you just like give this person a little privacy while we're doing that? We don't care if you film other things. Just please give us. And if the auditor's like, yeah, absolutely, totally cool. I'm not here for that. You know, I'm not trying to obstruct that sort of justice in any way. If we could all do that, then that would be awesome. But I don't believe that as a society we're capable of that, and I don't think we're getting the public on our side in any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, if you do go out videotaping, photographers' rights. Yeah, so it all comes down to form analysis, really. Number one, don't trespass. That's number one, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're filming or not. If you're trespassing, you're trespassing. They could tell you to get lost, to get off their property. If you don't do it, you can get arrested for trespassing. That's pretty cut and dry. Beyond that, like if you're on a public sidewalk, public street, in a park or a plaza, you're probably going to be golden. You could probably film whatever the hell you want. If you walk into a building, your rights diminish significantly. So that's the analysis for you. Anyway, thanks for watching. I know this is rambly. You get 2 rambles in one morning. But beyond that, have a great day.